Hey there, Prof T here, coming at you today with another LLM Basics Learning. Today, we're going to talk about reading with AI. Previously, we talked about three tools for deep reading: rereading, knowing, understanding, relating to the text; reading with a pen, bringing that engagement to your reading as you are taking notes with that pen; bringing some accuracy to your reading as you're following along with that pen to increase your accuracy, increase your speed. And then the idea of reading versus studying, right? Setting your intention to bring your attention and focus to what you're doing, or stepping back and allowing yourself just to read leisurely. We also previously talked about how LLMs work. As you can see here, number one, they don't think, they guess. And they're really good guessers based on the probability of the training data they have, the context you provide, and what they think is the likely next best word. So, in order to use that weakness as well as the second one, their output is likely the next best word. Again, they're based on probability calculations as to what the next word is. We add context. We add context to help the LLM better understand what we're looking for and make better guesses, make better choices based on the probability, as well as using that LLM's output for our next input, not copying and pasting and taking exactly what the LLM says, but using it to guide our next input to improve the next version of our work. We're going to combine those two things today and talk about how we use AI to enhance our deep reading. To do that, I'm going to do two things. We're going to talk about when to use Gen AI for deep reading, and we're going to come back to this idea of reading versus studying. We're also going to talk about what to use, and I'm actually going to go through an AI tool demo here and show you how I use Gen AI to enhance my deep reading. And of course, we're going to come back to why it matters here, the learning flywheel. Okay, we're going to start by looking at this AI tool here by Google called Notebook LM. I really like this tool when it comes to deep reading because of the way it works and because of the tools within this Gen AI tool that it provides. Anyone that has a Google account can access Notebook LM. It is free to use with a Google account. And as you can see from the image on my screen, there are a number of sampled notebooks, featured notebooks that you can jump in and test out the tool to see how it works. And then, of course, you can create your own notebooks as well. As you can see, I'm a frequent user of Notebook LM, and I've got a few notebooks created. We're just going to jump into this one that I've used with my class before. I've already got one source loaded up, and it's specifically a video that we've used in my class, a video of Fareed Zakira talking about the importance of a liberal arts education. You may already start to see how Notebook LM works. Essentially, when you access this site, when you access this AI tool, you can upload a number of sources to Notebook LM. You can add both sources from your hard drive, such as PDF documents or other text documents. You can add sources from maybe your Google Drive. If you have anything uploaded, you can connect it to your Google Drive and it'll be able to read any of the information in there. You can also, of course, add YouTube videos or other websites that you can link to, and Notebook LM will comb through those sites, comb through those YouTube videos, read that information, and bring the text back to you. Once it's there, once Notebook LM has the text, it'll start by generating a basic summary that you can see here in its chat window. And this summary is actually pretty good. The transcript from the YouTube video, of course, it takes everything as a transcript, features a speech by Fareed Zakira, who argues the enduring value of a liberal arts education, despite contemporary skepticism that favors technical training like computer science. Having watched the video myself, I can say that's a pretty good one sentence opener as to what the video is about. But here's where the power of this tool comes in. Not only will it give you a summary of the video itself, you can also ask different questions of the tool. And Notebook LM, once you have the sources loaded up, it will ground itself in the sources. It will focus all of the questions and answers it provides, the questions you ask and answers it provides, focus all of its LLM processing and knowledge on the specific sources you have provided. It doesn't even reach out to the web. It only focuses on the information within your source list. Once you have sources, The way in which I like to think about it, the way in which it was described to me is you can basically have a conversation with these sources by asking a number of questions. In fact, Notebook LM takes it a step further and it has some sample questions for you to ask. So we'll just click on one of these. What are the most compelling arguments for studying the liberal arts in the modern world? Notebook LM takes that information, it thinks about it, it processes the question that you ask, and it starts providing you quite a bit of detail based on the specific source you've provided. So you can see here the most compelling arguments for studying liberal arts in the modern world focus on developing essential transferable skills necessary for lifelong career success, personal fulfillment, especially given the rapid pace of technology change. It is grounding the content it provides to you based on the content you have loaded up in here. It even provides you specific links to where this information is pulled from the source material. So you can see here by clicking on this reference link, we actually get the place in the transcript that Fareed Zakir talks about this piece, the compelling arguments for studying the liberal arts. If we click in here, it'll actually take us to the video, to that specific section. As I jump around to these source links, it's taking me to every different place within the source material where it's pulling these quotes from. I love this. For a more complex take, this is what's called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. Basically, when you are grounding the LLM in a specific knowledge base, the sources you've provided here, it is focusing all of its attention, its self-attention mechanism. It's focusing the content you provide, the questions you ask, and pulling that information directly from the sources you've provided, as opposed to searching the web and pulling back any information, right? Again, by providing specific sources, we've added context to allow it to focus its answers and give us a better set of answers based on exactly what we're looking for. This chat window, again, is relatively flexible. You can use it just as you would any other chat bot that you've seen on the market. You could say, help me understand what career opportunities a liberal arts education prepares me for. The difference you'll see here is that instead of getting a broad answer like you would if you were asking any of our web tools or any of the tools that would search the web or search their broad database, Notebook LM is going to focus this answer on, again, what is specifically in the sources you've provided, right? Having watched this video, I can tell you this is exactly what Fareed Zakir is talking about in the video. And then it lists out and breaks it down in a very clear and organized way, the essential transferable skills: ability to write clearly and quickly, ability to speak and articulate, ability to learn, relearn, and retool. Again, some of the same things that we have been talking about as we have been discussing why we learn the liberal arts: clear, deep reading, critical thinking, and clear writing. Here's the next thing that I really like about this. These are some of the additional tools that Google has provided within Notebook LM, and they're quite versatile. One of the ones I like is the mind map. If any of you have done any mind mapping before, and I've actually got one loaded up here, the mind maps help you in kind of a short form way create a visual mapping of some of the key concepts and information that you'll find in these sources. Oftentimes, students are taught to do a mind map themselves where they're just kind of writing out notes and then making those connections between those key concepts and how they work. Well, Notebook LM does that for you by starting you off with a mind map based on its summary of the resources you provide, and then identifying links where you can jump into more and less detail about what those key points from the sources are. The importance of liberal arts, that's the main source here. Here's a few key points. You can then use these arrows to dive deeper into each of these, understanding what a liberal arts education is, not the left-right political definition that the word liberal would come with. It does include the sciences and it talks about how the liberal arts are connected to the sciences. That's pretty interesting. Let's dive into that one a little bit more. You can see here that Fareed Zakir talks about physics, biology, mathematics, and how they were integral to the history of the liberal arts, where this started back during Greek and Roman times, as liberal arts education was burgeoning and became part of the training for a citizen. Then as you jump in here, as you dive deeper to kind of that end node of the mind map, it'll take you back to the chat window so that you can explore this idea in more context. A great way to, again, see in a visual perspective what the sources are saying and to be able to dive deep into topics that interest you a bit more while staying grounded within the source material. I want to jump into a different tool, something that I actually really love, the audio overviews. Many of you may have seen this in other mediums. There are a number of podcasts that are popping up that are really audio overviews taken from Notebook LM. Essentially, once you put in a number of sources, Notebook LM will read that information, it will summarize that information and create a short 10 to 12-minute podcast that walks you through the key points of all of those sources. In this case, it's going to talk about the one source we have loaded up here, and it's going to give you two AI generated voices, two hosts that talk about different aspects of this topic. Again, it's making the learning multimodal. The mind maps gives you a visual representation of the learning. The chatbot allows you to converse with the text. The audio overview gives you an opportunity to listen and hear about people talking about the text. I shouldn't say people. Gives you a chance to listen and hear two AI generated hosts talking about the text to make the learning multimodal. The last thing that I'll show you is something that I find very interesting, and it's this discover piece. So like I said, all of what Notebook LM does is focused on the sources you provide. But let's say you want some additional sources. Let's say you've got one source in here, but you want to learn more. You can use the Discover tool to jump into the web and help it find you more sources on the importance of a liberal arts education and how it will help in my career. Once we hit submit, Notebook LM will take that information, it'll search the web, and it'll come back with a number of additional resources related to this topic that we can then add to our source list in Notebook LM. We're just going to add all 10 of these sources. We're going to import them directly into Notebook LM. Once Notebook LM has finished uploading all those new sources we just found, we can come here and hit the refresh button, and it will give us a new summary of all 10 of those sources. It'll take all of the information that we've provided, both the original video as well as the new information, and summarize, and it'll ingest all that knowledge, summarize all that detail for us in the chat window here, and then give us the ability to use all of the tools in the studio to create new mind maps, create new audio overviews that takes all of these sources into account and helps us deepen our understanding of the main idea, how we will use our liberal arts education. Notebook LM is a great tool to use when you really want to study a resource, when you really want to study an idea, because of the way it allows you to upload so many resources and keeps the bot focused on just the source material you want to use, because of the chat window that is so flexible and allows you to converse with the text and ask good questions to help you deepen your understanding, as well as the LLMs, the Notebook LM Studio that offers different tools to help you visualize the resource material, to help you get audio overviews of the source material. And we didn't even cover the flashcards that'll create or the quizzes that it'll create to help you deepen your understanding and really lock in that material as you are studying it. But if you take a step back, if you're maybe just starting your research or maybe just curious about an idea, you want a tool that may be a little bit more flexible, maybe give you a little more high level resources. And for that, I like to use Perplexity. This is one of the first Gen AI tools that was really based in web browsing and web search. It was one of the first tools where it would search the web and bring you back information using the natural language capabilities of the LLM to both help you find resources just by asking basic questions, as well as return those resources and summarize that information in a more understandable and really in a more flexible way, better than many of the search tools, many of the standard like Google search tools we had prior to this. Now, after Perplexity is launched at this point in time, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and even Claude.ai have all stepped their game up and can all do web search. But I stick with Perplexity because of the flexibility of this that this tool has. So if we just search, why is a arts education, important. It'll take some time, search through the web, it'll identify its sources, and then it'll come back with a general summary based on the question that you ask. A liberal arts education is important because it cultivates critical thinking, adaptability, and broad intellectual skills essential for navigating a complex, rapidly changing world. Very similar to what we heard in the Fareed Zakira video. But if we didn't have that video to start with, if we just had the question, you can see how Perplexity is helping us take the question we have with very little context provided and get a basic understanding of the topic in the summaries it provides. Very similar to, and let me see if I can increase the screen here. Very similar to Notebook LM, Perplexity also does a really good job of citing its source. In every piece of information that comes back, it provides you the source it used to create that summary. It also gives you a tab at the very top that will let you see all of the sources it's selected in order to provide the information that you're looking for and allow you to dive deep into each of those sources. In my experience, I've found that Perplexity is one of the tools that does the best with sourcing information. It provides, usually these sources are accurate links, links that work, links to real locations, where in the past I've seen all of the tools, Google Gemini, ChatGPT, even Claude.ai, make up sources and link to sources that don't actually exist. That's less of a problem now as the LLMs have gotten better. But like I said, Perplexity was first to the game, and I think they do one of the best jobs of sourcing information and providing and citing its sources. I think Perplexity is a great way to, again, get you started on that research, get you started learning and understanding those new ideas. It also helps you decide, is this something I want to read or is this something I want to study? After reviewing this information, after getting a general idea of the sources that are out there, the best thing to do, or I should say, the thing that I recommend, is going into that source material and determining which of these sources, if any, are actually core, are actually key, are actually central to the thing that you want to learn, the thing that you want to study. And then you can take that information and dive in deeper and actually do the reading. Employ those deep reading skills of rereading and reading with a pen to make sure that you are reading the source material deeply. Like we've said before, we don't want AI to replace our thinking. We don't want AI to do the reading for us. We want AI to help us read deeper. Using Perplexity, using web research tools, using Notebook LM, these help you get started. These help you do that first read through by giving you a really good summary, helping you identify sources, helping you pick information that will help you dive deeper into the topics you want to study. They give you that first pass, that first read through, so you know what you're talking about. But then it's your job to make sure that you are diving into those sources and actually reading the source material yourself. This is where those deep reading tools come in, of reading with a pen, of rereading, to make sure that you are doing the work, that you are doing the deep reading, and that you continue to be in control of your learning. We covered the how, now here's the why. It comes back to the learning flywheel and what I alluded to during the tool demo. AI accelerates deep reading. As we saw with Perplexity, it can give you an opportunity to improve your research, to help you research faster by giving you a high level overview of all of the potential topics, identifying some key resources that will help you better understand those topics, and giving you a quick summary of each of those resources so you can decide, is this a resource that I need? Is this a resource that I don't need? Do I want to read this? Do I want to study this topic at all? Reading with AI, it can help you condense your knowledge. As you saw in the tool demo with Notebook LM, we can upload 10 resources and get a summary of all of the resources, the key points that each of them allude to, and how they are connected. We can get that done visually with a mind map so we can understand the different key points and make those connections. We can get an audio overview to enhance the multimodal learning that gives us a deeper understanding of that knowledge. By condensing that knowledge, we can learn faster what those resources have to offer and make better decisions. Is this something I want to read? Is this something I want to study? Like we've said in these last few videos, AI enhances the learning when you are the one doing the work. Reading is the first step, the first input to spin your learning flywheel. And by using these AI tools, we can accelerate our reading. We can accelerate the amount of information that we can ingest. We can accelerate how deeply we get through that first read through so that we can go back to the sources that we've decided are worth studying and use our tools for deep reading by rereading and reading with a pen to improve that input to our learning flywheel, improve the speed and the quality of it from Gen AI. So, what's the next action? Just as with the LLM basics, the next best thing you can do to learn these tools is to experiment. Research a new or research one of your favorite topics. Start with Perplexity AI, start with Gemini from Google, and ask a question about a topic that you're interested in, a topic that you've researched before, and see what sources it comes back with. Help it see if those sources give you a deeper understanding of that topic. See if there are new ideas and new sources that you hadn't thought of, and then check that source material and assess it yourself. Use those basic summaries to help you quickly assess whether or not the material is worth diving into. And then take a piece of material, take one of those sources and actually use your tools for deep reading and read the source material yourself. Reread that material. Go back to that summary and read it so you know what to expect, and then dive into the source material. Grab a pen and make sure that you're reading with a pen so you can underline digitally or physically if you want to print it out and take notes in the notebook or on a printed copy of the material so that you yourself are doing the reading, that you yourself are doing the work, and that you yourself are enhancing your learning and your skills with the support of Gen AI. And after you've done that, tell me more about how it went. Did you learn something new with the Gen AI tools? Did you try, have you been able to research a new topic faster or deeper than you had before? You can tell me here in the comments, and you can reach out to me here at theproft.com. It's the new site that I'm building. It's going to be a hub for all of my content as well as the community out here that I'm trying to build myself. So come to the site, sign up on our mailing list, and help me shape the content with your questions, with your comments, with the information that you want to know, uh, so we can all learn and build together, both our deep reading, critical thinking, clear writing, and our work with AI. As always, thank you very much for your time and attention, and let me know what I can do for you.